We just,
Sorry, I did figure it out.
Well, good.
Oh, sorry, I'm listening.
this would probably end up being a 2026.
Yeah, I think we've got to pick it back up, but it seems like it's still our top priority going in. We just didn't quite get it this year, right? So the next one on 2026 is the Eastern Boardwalk. I was gonna say, I'm totally okay with it being on the list. It's not really a part.
It is not, and it's not a, in my personal opinion, it is not a priority.
Hurricane,
For the
No.
parks that you're at.
turn the air.
That's good.
with that.
Oh, that's broken.
Oh.
That's the window behind you.
So
Am I missing something? What year is that in?
2026.
Okay.
At the bottom.
I mean, I don't think this should fall. I mean, we've said this a million times, so I don't think this should fall. All the fundraising should fall on Parks and Rec for the boardwalk.
So what if we did, so it's down there on the very end of 2026. Obviously, it's gonna require us.
And I think it was low on our survey too, wasn't it?
Well, that's been a council decision.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
council, right? I mean, they can decide whatever they want to do.
But are we still responsible?
Still
Like that-
parks
Isn't that how we
project.
went around and around?
So council decided we're responsible.
Mhm.
So I guess we keep.
Well, Victor and I, as a partnership, but ultimately, I don't think we have to do events or anything like that. Ultimately, Parks keeps track of all the fundraising, sends out all the letters. So it reaches out to larger donors, the main contact.
Do we want it on our list though, or on like,
It should stay on there because it's a priority for me. Is the Parks Director is deemed by council, that's why. But yes, I definitely see what you're saying, like, should we leave it on our parks list, but because we are actively working on it in this Parks Department. It would make sense to keep it on until it's completed.
does it matter really, I guess anyways? I guess logistically, the board won't be working on it, at least not in the manner we did the first time around.
It's more to tell the board what staff is working on as a priority to council, where we can move on to work on other.
What happened with the committee that was supposed to form for fundraising? That was
A few times.
not the Parks Board, but the one that council
Nobody
was
applied.
supposed to put together. Okay, so that just didn't.
Yeah, it was open for applications. I shouldn't say nobody applied. I'm actually not sure, but the last I heard, there weren't applicants for the committee.
So that was council's solution to,
To pull it from Parks Board. And again, I don't believe council in, this, we can ask this question and all we talk about budgeting. I don't believe council is looking for the Park Board to come up with events or do things like that. We are currently doing the silent auction. Victor and I kind of set that up with Scott, was really helpful with that. Again, like reaching out to major donors. I feel like when we're talking about staff time, we're talking about projects. This is a big piece of what we're
Yeah.
doing right now, right?
How is the silent auction going?
It's going. We've had a couple bids, slowly but surely. We've made right now just over $500, but we extended it another 2 weeks, I believe, to August 22nd. So we got a bigger item tonight. If anyone wants to go look, it's a big Yeti cooler from the outfitter.
So that's what I'm hearing here is that even though parks, it's not really our responsibility to deal with the boardwalk, it's not a park. It is a staff responsibility and council has put it on their 2026 CIP.
It's, sorry, and also just while we're talking about it, Nate also does maintenance boardwalk.
Okay.
So
The council has put it on its 2026 CIP. It's council's decision to put it on the CIP. I don't know that we want to have it removed from the CIP.
I don't think we can.
I don't know that we can. So we're kind of just sort of stuck. Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay.
So let's keep it in 2026.
see the project being completed the next year and we won't have to talk about boardwalk like one time.
Well, All right, the next one on the list is the beach plumbing. Now, this one, the price on this one surprised me because it's in there for $250,000. I'm wondering if there's sort of there's a phasing sort of thing.
And I can give an update on that project actually, and I kind of hint on it in our director's report. So Lucas and I reached out to Fairburn Plumbing. And he is looking into some power flush toilets. And we have to reach out, Lucas is reaching out to a company to scope our bottom pipe to see, so the 250 is like worst case scenario, like we have to like tear up the building, all the plumbing's underneath. This is what we need to do. It's looking like that won't be the case. And this may not even meet CIP requirements. If we can get the toilets and everything works. We do have a leak under the utility sink that if we're going off the meter, probably about 2 gallons an hour we're losing under the building. Now is not the time to deal with that because it's not a tragedy. But we will have to address that in the fall. But again, 250 was the worst case scenario. We have to tear everything out, but it's looking really positive right now.
That's great.
And it's
So,
good on here right now. on the-
Correct.
I mean, it is on the
2026.
CIP.
Correct, yep.
Yeah,
2026.
Correct, yep.
I think that's important.
Just one thing I wanted to bring up again on that too is, I don't know what plumbing they're looking at, but if we do down the road want to do something else, like let's say we do want a concession window or something. I would just want some assurance that we're spending all this money on plumbing now, that we won't have to change it again for something we want to do down the road.
Yeah.
And so, actually Danny and I were talking, we both know Dave Kimball that, designed the building. Like, it seems like it would be worthwhile to, you know, have him come meet with you and Danny or something. And just look at where the plumbing is, and if we wanted to do a window out one side, you know, we don't have to design it or do anything about that now, but just to spend all this money on plumbing and then maybe have to tear it up.
when we,
It doesn't seem very forward thinking.
so I'm always happy to meet with him. And including Dave, we can go down and walk, much like we did with Kiwanis, we can go walk around it and see what it is. But it sounds like the plumbing that you're talking about is mainly like replacing toilets and
That would,
dealing with the pipes as they are, not digging up stuff or anything
Yeah.
like that, right?
To expand the building, you have to go into the parking lot.
Sure, sure.
I mean,
I don't
would
think,
assume.
wasn't even talking
Yeah.
about that, just if it
Okay.
reconfigure, like open a
Yeah.
window on the east side or like, where's the utilities?
The utilities, well, the water heater is in the lifeguard shack under a box, basically, that they have their microwave and stuff on. And then the rest is under the concrete. Now we have an attic that doesn't have anything in it. And that's why Lucas is saying if there is a major problem, we have to redo it, we should refigure all of it to save some space. It would make sense to do that. But if we deem that the pipes are fine and we don't need to do that, we'll do a toilet upgrade to a power flush system and see if we can get that same. The problem is they're commercial toilets, but they're commercial toilets for like when you go to a doctor's office. They're not commercial toilets for someone where there's a line and they're flushing. And that's when you get the backup and the issues with that, and the urinal was a big one too, that we wanted him to look at.
So it sounds like there's some progress there
Yeah.
and some promising fields. That would be great to get that fixed before like summer comes again.
But I'm thinking that figure is extremely high and will make council pretty happy that it'll be much lower.
Well, it still needs to be on the list for next year, maybe even this year, to be honest with you. But get it
How
fixed
does
whenever you can.
everybody feel about, do we want to have an architect just take a look? I don't know. Like, we haven't, you know, done master planning to identify what else we might want to do, like, I think we've talked about concessions here and there, but.
I think with all the other projects that are going on, if we're gonna do some type of update. If this is a fix that buys us another 5 years. Then we do it versus,
And then do we just say to ourselves, if we have to change the plumbing around, then we'll do it then?
Well, let's see if we have to change the plumbing around. How about that? Because that may be, the question may be moot in that if we can fix what needs to be fixed without digging, ripping everything up, I just.
Yeah, I think another, like, if we even get to that topic of concessions is, that's increased staff.
Yeah, that's what I.
And there's increased cost with that, which is great. Like, I mean, concessions they're doing well, like Petoskey, they hire theirs out. And things like that. So I think that'd be a bigger discussion also with council to see if that's even a feasible option. But yeah, we should know that pretty soon this fall. Obviously, we have to wait till the busy season's done to do some of that work.
Well, it's like, we'll hear about that and then we'll figure out what the next step is. It sounds like at the very least, it has to stay in the CIP.
Yeah.
And hopefully it will be a cheaper fix, a reasonable fix to get it through, I think. Hopefully,
In my hearing, it might actually be this year.
Hopefully.
That'd be
We're
cool.
hoping for this fall, early spring. Especially if it's just two toilets, DPW will do that. That's not gonna be complicated at all.
That sounds awesome. All right, so the other lists that we have, the projects that we have and are going for, so there's the Shea Master Plan, that's on the 2025. That's a $30,000 right now budgeted. You know, we went to council, I think, with a slightly lower figure than that. It's good. And the suggestion from staff is to adjust that to 2026. Does that seem reasonable to everybody? Yeah, probably gonna have to. All right. The wheelway extension, again, that's in there. Staff suggestion is to adjust that to 2028. That seems like a good plan.
29, 30.
Well, I said 2028 because our lease agreement with the county, I believe is 2028.
Okay.
To get past Bay Bluff, so,
And what year is that right now?
2027, I think.
Pushes it a
It
year.
might be
Well,
2026.
2026, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
So pushes
That ain't happening.
Oh, yeah.
To 2028.
to 20. The 2026 currently has Harbor View Park upgrade. And staff suggestion here is to adjust it to 2027 or 2028.
I think if we're pushing the wheelway to 28, we should try and focus on this in 27. Cause it'd be nice to see a pavilion going, especially with price difference. Yeah.
Well, and the other piece of that is I think there could be some grant sort of
Yeah.
potential there, so definitely needs to be in CI. Scotty, you think 27 okay?
Yes.
Playground updates is currently at 2027. That would get us past the Kiwanis building, which could build some momentum. Staff suggestion is to leave it in. So, everybody feel okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. In 2028, we have the Indian Town Master Plan. Staff suggestion is to move it to 2030.
With clarification,
Okay.
when we put that in, we said Indian Town Park Master Plan. Now, we could change that to be a CIP for Indian Town Park, like hiring an architect, for instance, and leave it in 2028. Cause that may be over $10,000, like to get started on that process. I'd have to ask Victor on the logistics of that. But if we're talking about doing the actual project itself, that's why I said 2030.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on how we're looking at it. If that makes sense. Sorry, I didn't mean to confuse
I
anyone.
mean, there's no
further.
reason why we can't look into it next year or the year
Right,
after and then
right.
say we're still waiting till 2030. And it also doesn't hurt if we're like, oh, we could actually do it earlier. It's,
Yeah, we can do any of these earlier, council, if we have the funds,
yeah,
council's not gonna say no.
Good.
yeah, it's
So you
safe to
wanna
say
move it
2030.
Move it up a little if we're just talking about the planning part.
What else do we have in 29? Nothing.
Naturescape,
Which
which they want to
we're
move to 31. So if it's the only thing in 29, maybe it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So leave it in 2029?
Which one?
The Indian Town, so moving it up to 2029 instead of 2030.
Do we know what they're actually proposing to do there?
That's kind of my question, is we've talked about some things, like redoing the basketball court.
Yeah, I'm pretty much against that,
Yeah.
improving that property.
I am too, and I
I
don't,
go by there all the time, there's nobody ever there. And the basketball courts, I would think would be objectionable to the people living there.
So you know what, pretty okay with taking things off the list too. Does anybody have an objection to?
When I saw
Pushing it?
it, when I read the packet, I was like, I cannot even think about this one. So.
well, I think we need to have a plan, even if it's just to get the park cleaned up and
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's not CIP necessarily. If it's just to clean up.
Yeah.
I think eventually we're gonna have to have the discussion whether we tear that basketball court out. Or maybe it's a
Well, let-
hazard
let's
as it
knock the
is.
price down. 200,000 is a lot to spend for asphalt removal.
What's the threshold for small projects?
For CIP,
Yeah,
10,000 above. And 40,000 above is a bid out for quotes.
Can we just reassess next year and make some decisions if we leave it at 2028, or I'm sorry, 2029?
No, we could do.
but maybe maybe to Dick's
That's
point,
a long ways away though. I mean, like, what if we did some planning in 2028?
but we still can.
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just not gonna do
Still
any.
can. So we're saying when it's on is when it will be built.
I think it would be helpful to speak to the tribe
Exactly.
And I've spoken to them and they would like to keep the basketball court. They hinted that some of those units are extremely small. In that community, so when people have gatherings, things like that, it'd be nice to have like a little gazebo or something with covering to have a family gathering. To allow that, so I think to write it off is a little premature personally,
Okay,
but we'll do this board, it's pretty far out, so we have plenty of time for planning, and if it ends up, we do this every year. So we can take it off, we can also adjust the amount this time around, I'm comfortable with that, if we wanna adjust the amount, we can always
I think
adjust
we,
that later.
I think we just push it to 2029 and revisit.
And if we work on it earlier, that's no
Yeah.
big deal, right?
but to your
Except
point,
we won't get a grant then. Doesn't it have to be in a CIP to apply for a grant?
well, but we're leaving it in.
Yeah, we're not taking it out.
No, I know, but if we want to work on it a year earlier.
Yeah, we could.
Is there any harm in leaving it in 2028?
I still like 29.
All right, it doesn't matter that much.
I don't know that
29,
really matters all that much.
Yeah, if
So,
people want.
To Dick's
29.
point, if we're moving down that path, at some point, we'll need to engage the tribe group or try to figure out what we need. Okay, so we're in split the difference, not 2030, not 2028, we're gonna go 2029, we don't have anything in that year.
Great.
Call it good, how about that? And then the Naturescape, the Spillway Stadium Green Space. Talk to me about that. What's that?
Is this
Is
the
it-
deer park or?
No, this is not removing the deer,
Okay,
this would be keeping the deer. Open that can.
I'm ready to open that can of worms.
No, so
Do it.
it was kind of,
Different chair for
it's
that one.
kind of like the Indian town. It was a park, it was this green space here by the spillway that goes into the stadium. And Dana, you can elaborate more on this if you wish, but we had discussed a future for that park. You know, what it could look like, you know, like the walkway kind of ends at employee parking, it could potentially go all the way.
Like a boardwalk through the
Yeah.
lands there.
Like behind the stadium?
Yeah.
And
I think-
it would be educational and nature with interpretive stuff.
Did we talk about a pollinator garden too?
Pollinator
And we talked
garden.
about, what was the forest that they wanted to put up at the school?
Yeah, the tiny forest.
Yeah, the tiny forest.
That would be
putting that back
there,
that would
we could do community garden there, just sort of like, good.
Yeah, I
sustainable.
like this project, but I don't think we're there yet.
No.
And I think we were talking like pollinator garden, like extending the path.
Community
Going through what
gardens, yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of aligns with that Indian town, like we would need to start, that's why we pushed it off.
So staff suggested moving it to 2031.
A long ways out.
I know, but it's just a loose year since we're backed up on projects
We
now.
can move, we can adjust.
But that's fine, I mean.
We
can
have some room in 2030.
That was 2030.
Yeah, we've got some space in 2030. All right, 2030, okay. All right,
And is that everything that's on the list from last year?
that is, everybody feel comfortable with that. I'm gonna go through them just one more time to make sure everybody's got where we're at, and that, we all feel good. Kiwanis Park, moving into 2026. The Eastern Boardwalk, we have some discussion there, maybe we'll send a note, but 2026, to leave it on the CIP. The beach plumbing improvements, 2026, we're hoping this fall, and we're hoping that it comes in cheaper, and then we can just sort of repair it and move on. But we have some conversation about potentially what happens next there, maybe in conjunction with doing some planning with the beach, which we haven't really talked about yet. Then we've got Shea Master Plan in 2026. 2028 for the wheelway extension. I'll get it. 2027 for Harborview. We left the Kiwanis Playground updates in 2027, 2029 for the Indian Town Master Plan with the potential to reduce that number. And then the Naturescape for 2030.
Sounds
Great.
good.
Does that sound right for everybody?
You need a motion?
I think the motion would be
Do
great.
we, one more thing, do we want to talk about if there's anything else that
Oh.
come across our table that
Sure,
we
before,
want to add?
before we do a motion, so we've got that squared away. Anybody have any addition to the CIP between now and, I don't know, 2031 or so?
I think these are some big projects.
Not on it. Do you see anything on the horizon?
The only thing I can think of is Ford Park, we kind of got a little start with them on sort of a master plan of reworking the parking and changing the green space and that kind of thing, so I just don't know if it's gonna come up again. If
But
it
that's
does,
not, it's not us, right?
the green space would be, yeah,
Okay.
so,
But do we know, we don't have any
no, they
When
have
is
nothing,
harbor
like,
commission doing that?
Not
Sorry?
anytime soon.
I'm gonna say that
Probably.
because I can see if that would align with when actual renovations are being discussed or made.
So is this something, does it make sense? Anna, would this be something that we could keep on our radar? I mean, I don't think Harbor Commission's anywhere close to doing anything with it, but it's on our radar.
yeah, so
and
we could put it 2030 or something, just so.
I don't see it.
I think they had adjusted it in 2026 to do the Ford Park widening.
Right.
Which they
They
did.
did.
Okay,
Wasn't there reworking discussed?
See it anywhere else.
I don't see it on here.
But Deanna is correct, they did speak about that in depth, and then I don't know, Deanna, was it the Harbor Master Building that maybe put it off and they must have revamped it? I feel like I remember seeing it on here.
Yeah, I think they
Perfect.
just weren't ready to deal with that at that point, just they wanted an interim thing. What if we just put it on for like farther out, just so we don't lose track of it?
Like, only fear with putting it, only something to be aware of, is that the Ford Park widening is from the waterfront fund.
Yeah.
And my fear is if we put it on there, it's gonna come out of the general fund. Thoughts, that's all, thoughts to it.
well,
If they put it on and then we work with them on the green space, does that, and I don't know, it might be a question
Well,
for Victor or the
Or
Harbor
maybe,
Commission.
maybe he puts down general
Yeah.
fund and waterfront.
True, yeah.
well, I don't have any problem putting it at 2030 or something. I mean, just having a placeholder
Just
on
keep
the
it on
thing,
the radar,
so it's
yeah.
there.
Ford Park.
So Ford Park, green space, let's be
Yeah,
particular,
Specific on that, yeah.
because we're not talking about a building, we're talking about the green space.
to 2030.
Yeah.
Then, Jamie asked me to bring this up, like, I don't know if we need a mass purchase of umbrellas, like she was saying, what is it, 16 tables at Marina Park, only 6 have umbrellas. Need more at the beach, need more at Ford Park, like,
So
what are they, like $1,000 each? I don't know.
they're $500 each, and it's $500 for free. So we did an order this year, we got 8. And it came in, like, I gotta stay under $10,000 without council approval.
Yeah.
And
We
then,
wanna just try and do that going forward then?
yeah,
Yeah.
the issue is the umbrellas break. Frequently. Like, we're averaging about, I'd guess, $8,000 a year on umbrellas. I'd have to get the actual.
Do they not
paperwork.
have warranties?
No. And the problem is our mowers, so the brackets go to the grass, like to the ground, so when they push the tables with the mower, just no one's fault, they're super heavy tables, I understand why DPW does it, but it bends that pole. Then you have humans, peopling, and you have Mother Nature, doing its thing. So some of those braces down at Marina Park are old. But we ordered 2 for new ones for the skate park this year. We ordered a new one for the beach, and then 5 of those down at Marina Park are new. The new ones, they're not the same as what the Marina Committee had ordered.
So Jamie seems to think there's only 6 umbrellas down there right now.
I'd have to count,
I think she did.
but we ordered some for the beach, and we ordered some for the skate park, and then we ordered some for Marina Park.
But these umbrellas don't strike me as a capital.
No, this one.
No,
is
it's not.
CIP, yeah.
Right, so it wouldn't necessarily be in the CIP.
Okay,
Okay, so with the addition of the 2030 Ford Park to everything that I listed off before, is there a motion to approve those to submit to the
I move
CIP?
that we approve. CIP.
Second.
Got a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Those will be submitted to the CIP. Small projects is where we're headed next.
Rachel, did you say that you had, what we worked on in January that you were gonna show at the meeting?
We're looking for specifically the ADA one.
Well, I think what you put in the pack was completed projects. And then the January list, but you made a bunch of updates to it already. So my thought is maybe the board ought to just talk about them all before we start adding and subtracting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think I took that many off it. Most of these, besides the ADA, the maintenance one. The rest of these are pretty concrete. But I can run to my office and grab it real quick. Just save it on the. thumb
I
drive.
have it right here, so
Yeah.
let's see. System-wide stuff, looks like one thing came off. It looks like you're recommending bike racks go on, but benches and tables come off.
Well, benches and tables, I guess my thing is not overly specific. We've kind of gotten it. Now, if we want to in January, add each individual park. For instance, the water fund's completed. Besides Ford Park, all the benches are going to match. So now we could probably go by park. Instead of having it. as a
Having it under
system-wide.
there, okay,
Yeah.
yep, that makes sense, okay. Community outreach, what got dropped here? Friends of the Park Group,
And, yeah, because we,
that's kind of completed, or,
yeah, well, we decided we're gonna try to do that in different ways, but it was fundraising.
Yeah,
And so,
okay.
yeah.
let's see.
I think I kept it under funding though.
You did,
Like,
but-
yeah.
I just have to say, when I was reading through this and looking at all the things that have been done in the last couple of years, like kudos to you, Rachel, for keeping everything moving forward and
That's
a lot's been
it's
accomplished.
done.
Yeah, a lot.
So-
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great.
Let's see, on Ford Park, should we add green space master plan or something to that? We had park master plan in January, and then you took it off.
I think,
These are just small projects though, right?
I think it's fine if we want to do it next year. I think this discussion is about what we wanted. Like, do we want to do that next year is what I'm asking. Cause I need to ask Nick for smaller projects to.
Or
put in
have
the
we kind of
budget.
moved that more to CIP anyways?
The CIP, yeah, cause we'll
Yeah.
reevaluate this entire list, how we usually do in January, add, take away, do whatever we're gonna do. I was just trying to show the board, and maybe there are some missing, we can still go through your list, obviously, to make sure. That something wasn't removed that we wanna work on next year, but this is the list to take things off. To say, what should we ask for to do immediately next year in the
Yeah.
spring?
So, you've got, tables and benches, and, wherever you've got that, I think it would be helpful to add umbrellas. And I don't know if there's some magic ratio of, we have 10 tables, half of them should have umbrellas, or I don't know, the parks just get so blistering hot, they're almost unusable.
Freedom Park's about at half now,
Well,
if there's 8 umbrella, or 6 or 8 umbrellas.
6 umbrellas
Yeah.
and 16 tables.
So to address Jamie's point, and Dana does a good point here, every time we have, tables and benches on this list, let's just add umbrellas. If we need umbrellas, great. Doesn't, if not someplace, it's fine. Like Shea Park, for instance, table and benches, I don't know if that's gonna be an umbrella or not.
But then my question is, if there's an umbrella at Shea Park, who's in charge of taking it down if it's stored? Like Marina Park staff, skate park has a marina crew. Sometimes Nate and I get to them too. Skate park staffed fairly heavily enough, and then the beach. That's why I'm hesitant to put them, we could definitely add more to the beach. For sure, but I'm hesitant to put them in other parks. That don't have staff in them, unless we can think of a better, unless we're okay spending money on them, you're replacing them, I'm fine with that too. Just know they're expensive,
Yeah,
so.
well, people don't seem to want a bunch
Yeah.
of trees for shade, so I think
Yeah.
that it's really
Yeah.
the best option.
Lord and more.
Well, apparently we can never have enough umbrellas, so,
Yeah.
wherever they go, at least we'll have it.
So Jean Jardine. So we can have stuff on here that's not started. So, in January, we had like a park master plan listed and just not started. So,
For Jean Jardine,
yep. I'm looking at it. So I don't know if it's a good idea just to keep that on there, because we've said we want a master plan for every
yeah,
park.
that's fine.
And then, Naturescape, Park, came off, it looks like, so I don't know if that went somewhere else or maybe it, well, we got it in the
just put it in the
CIP.
CIP.
Okay.
So-
It's
Yep.
under other parts in the
Yeah.
CIP section.
Yep. Let's see. Kiwanis Park, same thing. I think we still do need to come up with a master plan for the park at some point. Whether that goes under CIP or we leave it here. You know, I think it could be under $10,000, so maybe it stays here.
Yeah, I think for the parks that we don't have master plans for, maybe this is a good spot to put them, just so we don't forget, if we don't have a master plan.
Yeah.
For them, so that's Jean Jardine,
Just kind of a placeholder. Jean Jardine, Kiwanis, yeah. Then Cosequat Skate Park. So the Harbor View is in CIP now, so we took that out. Harbor View Master Plan. All right, I guess Marina Park didn't change. Now, Bay Park. Gets to your point of tables and benches. Could that be something that Nate does at the end of the day? As he goes and puts the umbrellas down?
well, we can figure, that's not a.
Yeah, no, only because someone's gonna put it right back up. I don't know.
But if we think there's no shade at Shea Park, I think it would be really nice if we had umbrellas.
We're gonna put umbrellas on each of the tables and benches for each of the things that we
Okay,
have,
then
and then
let's do
we'll
that.
figure out a
Yeah.
staffing, whatever that is, but that's not, this isn't a staffing necessarily discussion,
Yeah.
we'll have to figure that out.
And then, so by the same token, do we take the Shea Park master plan off the small projects because it's on CIP?
All the CIPs are on here in orange
Okay,
on the new one.
okay, good.
They're just marked as CIP, that's all.
Zoll Beach, then let's add park master plan back in just as a placeholder. City Beach, same thing, add master plan back in there. Um, um, And then it looks like everything came out of programs and events. So what we did have in January was 2 to 3 new programs. We want to add any programs for next year?
Yeah.
Content with the projects and programs that you've created this year.
The only thing I'd like to, it's not necessarily a program, but just to remember to flag is that July is Parks and Rec month, and that we need to make sure we remember that
Acknowledge that, yep.
before July.
It's on the parks.
So there you go, so, you know, because we kind of ran into that, like,
Oh, shoot.
so if we want to do more for that, at least we have that mentioned.
In January, we had conduct program event survey. Highlight other program events in the area, collaborate with DDA for Fall Fest.
But we're continuing, that's right.
Well, those were what we talked about in January, but we don't have any of those on for right now.
I'm going to the GBA tomorrow morning to collaborate with all.
So back to the small projects. The staff suggested the signage in Kiwanis. Increased maintenance at Marina Park and game box at Beach so we need to figure out 2 to 3 projects that we want to focus on. in 2026. So how do we feel about those that are suggested? Or are there any you want to remove or switch out or anything from our list?
And I think what we did is we each signed 1, 2, or 3 to each of them,
Yep.
and then Rachel tallies.
I think
We already did it though.
we did that in January.
Yes.
So we got the signage, the maintenance at Marina Park for plantings and the game box at the beach. Does that all seem like?
Those seem
stuff we
reasonable.
should be-
So,
Yeah.
and I can elaborate real quick on those. So the updated signage, when I say the Kiwanis sign, I'm talking about that small sign on the
Down on the
corner.
corner, yeah.
Correct. When I'm talking about tourist park, that larger sign, going to tourist park, that's still the maroon. And then also I noticed today the skate park also has an old maroon sign in front of it along M119. So I added that one to the list. It goes on. Which should be pretty easy signs to replace, not super expensive.
Less than 10,000.
Yeah, and then, other things, I've added is DPW is going to rebuild all the lifeguard stands this winter. That needs to happen. So we should all rank that a 1. And, we're gonna look at resurfacing the raft. We're gonna power
That's
wash
the
it,
one I
we're gonna
could bring.
clean it, and then we're gonna see what we can do to get something like sand or something to make it not as slippery. And then Marina Park maintenance, that's to have Dan's green side up, actually have a quote in here, it's under $10,000 to come in and take care of some of those grasses, clean them up a little bit, edge, do all that. We could use that for a couple of years to get them back to how they were. And the boxwoods too, he's gonna do some spraying, they have some bugs that are attacking them. And the weeds, that's on the list too, so.
He can spray.
Yeah, so.
We have signage for the locomotive.
That's the historical society, will put that signage in, yeah. I'm not sure where they are in the process. I know they had some temporary signage and I know they removed the string to the bell.
So,
The bell.
on Shaper though, don't have one of the blue signs there.
We don't know if that's part of our fundraising, kind of have that in with the fundraising.
So,
And then sorry.
go ahead.
The game box, Brad Reed, the shop teacher, said whenever we're ready for it. So
So he
that's-
sent me his contact,
Mhm.
yeah, we'll start that.
His daughter's in my class this year, so he kind of owes.
Excellent.
So it sounds like those, with the addition of the lifeguard stand and the raft redo with a little bit of grippy, some power wash and some grip tape or some grip paint. Sounds like those 4 we'd like to include, Rachel. No, it says 2 to 3 projects.
Some of them go together
They kind of go.
Lifeguard stands. got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
in the wrap too.
I'd like to talk just a bit more too about the annual safety maintenance ADA compliant checklist for each part. So I know you said that, Lucas and Nate are going to be working on that. So are they gonna have something where they can like go to each park and have a checklist, so it's documented in case, God forbid, something happens that, you know, it's clear we have a system in place.
Yeah, I think they're planning on it annually, going around with the checklist.
So they're gonna write it up and.
Yeah.
Okay. Would they share that with the board whenever it's done?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that, kind of talk about what that process looks like and come to the board to sort of talk about what safety concerns they might have, that sort of thing. All right, so of the small projects, do we have anything else to add to the small project list? All right, so what we've kind of added umbrellas throughout here in master plans for those that are appropriate to be on the master plans. And then add the lifeguard stand and raft as one of the projects to make sure we at least say that it's on our list.
And umbrellas
And umbrella, I'm sorry.
and do we think we need any more surveys, like at some point, you know, with the Kiwanis building, we're probably gonna have some type of public outreach and education on that. So
Yeah, I just,
that's-
probably, but I'm just not sure it's necessarily a. Do we think it's a project? Again, yeah, I guess it is. but-
Yeah,
It can be something that's put on the agenda for a meeting to focus on when you get closer to it.
so maybe it needs to be a project under community outreach.
How about we do this? for under community outreach, if we just put surveys as needed to support the board and planning needs or something like that. Does that work?
That's great.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Columbus is the part.
Sure, but if that's broad enough to make sure that we have, if we need to do more surveys for other things, we can make sure.
And then on funding, we said we were maybe later this year gonna look at starting up the endowment fund for programming and events.
I really think that's where you have Friends of the Park, I think that's probably a more accurate sort of.
So in January, we'll make those. And then what we'll do is in January, we'll go down, as we have historically done, and then we'll score. all those good things.
Do we want to put it in as a placeholder or like change the name of Friends of the Park? And just say endowment fund? Or we also could put it under programming.
I mean, is the purpose today to make edits, or is the purpose today to review so we can plan the rest of this year?
It was to review so I can request funds from Nick for a few special projects for next year.
So I think,
Okay, so that's good then. Yep.
yeah, I think we're good there. So with with the edits that we talked about, the benches, the master plans, the addition of the survey under community outreach, the umbrellas, and the lifeguard stands and wrapped, is there a motion to sort of, it looks like I need a motion? I do.
So we need to approve these small projects for the rest of this year.
All right, Maggie's motion, we got a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, please say aye. All right, all opposed? All right, motion carries. And we're on to this last bit of new business, the Fall Fest. Rachel, I think this is,
Yeah, so Fall Fest will land on Saturday, October 4th this year, 11 to 2 p.m. at Marina Park. We're already on the list for hay bales, so that's all set. I'm gonna reach out to Bill's Farm Market, which is waiting for this meeting to make sure we didn't have any adjustments or changes. Things to talk about, I know we talked about having some stations for pictures, the tractor, I remember that specifically from last year, the need. I just need to know, do we want to change anything up before I start booking things we've usually done, such as bands, things like that. I believe the DDA has a line dance instructor who's willing to come. I'm also going to them for money to request that they sponsor the event $500. So all good things. It's already passed through their promotions committee, so should be pretty smooth sailing. And then, like, I know we talked about sponsorships. We do have it in the budget to do this event, but if we want to talk about sponsorships, that would be appropriate as well.
So if we get sponsors, does that leave that money that's in the budget for something else? Or does it go away?
Yes and no. Technically, it's for programming and events. If we had to adjust a line item, we could spend it. We don't get it back. That's for sure, but it never hurts to say that we did these events, we had this in the budget, and this is all we spent. But yeah, line item adjustments can happen with clerk and council approval.
good luck with DDA. It sounds like we're
Yeah.
get some money there, and if somebody else wants to sponsor, that's now awesome. Any suggestions?
I mean, some local businesses this year too kind of hopped on to Fall Fest.
Yeah.
With the pumpkin run and that stuff, so I think we kind of leave it how it is and see what comes our way as we get closer, because
Yeah, the endowment fund would make an impact on this as well if we did it for programming and events, so kind of got all that went.
Any suggestions for Fall Fest? I think it's always fun.
Face painting is always a huge hit,
Oh.
and
we have a friend that does it.
yes, you know.
She does it at the farmers markets on the kids' day.
Do you know that name?
Carrie Roder, Kari, and then Roder. I'm sure she'd do it.
Yeah. And if she's not available, the person who does street music is great.
Yeah.
I don't know what they pay her to do that, but.
Carrie,
Are we happy with the band, Sunshine String Band, I believe?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
she's not quite as loud.
Mhm.
It was so loud in the beginning last year.
Was. Oh, anything else?
Do we want more hay bales or? Have we kind of finally settled on a good number?
350, I think.
250, yeah.
50?
We talked about doing a slide on them last year, but that might be a little too much.
I can ask our supplier, doesn't hurt him, so.
Cool.
Definitely put me on the list to help.
That's a good time.
The DDA is gonna volunteer as well.
Great.
More than a few of them, I've heard.
Yes, it's National
And-
Honor Society is gonna be able to.
Yeah,
offer
Key
some-
Club, yeah.
Yeah,
The
there's.
Key Club, yeah, they're gonna look for some service hours.
Didn't you make some notes last year afterwards? Like there's a couple of other things I just don't remember.
I'll take a look.
Okay.
I know we did a presentation on it,
Right, I feel
so,
like there was a couple things that you had ideas on, that I'm just not recalling right now.
yeah.
Right. Without anything else, and with Dick volunteering. Be great. All right, sounds good.
Yes.
Fire truck.
Moving on to old business. Which is really the Kiwanis building. So, Rachel and I got an opportunity to go and sit down with Mark. Who's working to sort of give us some design for the building. I would say he was open to changes and open to ideas and seemed, sort of engaged in what we were doing. And while he couldn't be here tonight, he plans on being here to help engage as we continue to think about this building. What he did give us and what we were talking about is it's a couple things, and I kind of wrote up some notes that got sent around you guys. The big one was that it can't be sort of, it's not really a business, which or sort of coded as a business for the fire marshal and everybody else. And so so there are certain requirements once you get over a certain number of people that can use the building, that code says you gotta have a certain number of bathrooms. And so while we had talked about, man, it'd be really nice to not have as many bathrooms, we had a meeting and we ended up with more bathrooms on this list. So that doesn't mean that you have to do all these bathrooms, but it was something, we at least have to have 2 bathrooms that service the number of people that would be inside the building. So that's sort of where each of these have 2 that have doors to the inside. So that's the sort of first thing, because that allows us to have an assembly occupancy license for that, which means we can have over 60 people there, which, that's sort of the plan. Like that's the whole goal, was to have people in gatherings. So that kind of helps us with that. What he also, so this, you can see where north is on the south side of the building. If you remember, there's a big giant flagpole that's like right by the sidewalk and the parking lot that is like, I don't know what sort of industrial, like it is giant, massive
flagpole.
steel. I don't know what battleship it came off of, but it is crazy. So anyway, so that, while it can be moved, I mean, anything can be done. And that's sort of, it's a bit of a constraint on that side, on the south side. Plus we've got the playground and everything else is on that side too. There's also a big tree towards the front corner of that if we were to go south, and this actually, one of those plans does push it south, we'd get close to that tree. The north side is sort of up for grabs. So he was sort of like, well, you can make the building as big as you want going north. It's just a matter of budget at that point. And so these all 3 of these plans, the first 2 keep the footprint of the building as it is. You can kind of see where that is in the main gathering room. Adds the bathrooms to the north side. That's so we aren't taking space of the main gathering room, and adds and storage on the north side. The second one there pushes a bathroom out towards the playgrounds that has outdoor access. Could be the outdoor access, and you could lock all the other doors. And the third one there pushes things to the south with an outdoor bathroom with a door that goes towards the parking lot. And then an entryway that's on that sort of, that's on that side. What I'd like for this discussion today, and I don't want to take forever on it, but what I would like is to sort of just initial sort of reactions. If you have thoughts about this, because what we'd like to do is start to now feed Mark some, here's what we like, here's what we don't, here's what we're thinking. And so if everybody can kind of help, give me your impressions about what you want to do, that's great. There is budget, obviously, constraints here, right? So each of these he thinks is sort of in the 250 to 300, except for the far right one that adds on. I think it's going to be more than that, but but we don't know what that is. All of them are underneath the 500,000, but there is a scale as to how much leftover we would have, right, depending on what we decided. So that's,
We started with questions, I did.
well, yeah, so let's, any questions? Yeah. sure.
Yeah,
Can we get copies of these plans?
Yeah.
To regurgitate them a little bit on our own?
Absolutely, Dick. This won't be the last time we'll revisit, but it is sort of the first time. You can have this one if you want.
Print it off, your package too. What's in the package.
Here you go, Dick.
Well, thank you.
Yep, Mike, let's see, first question, the additions off the north and then maybe off the south. Are these like what he did the first time around, like flat roof additions?
So the north sided, but he actually really likes that idea of a whole new roof. He just doesn't know what we'd be able to afford, which is why he did the flat, and correct me if I'm wrong. That's why he did the flat roof addition. Now, in Mark's mind, and again, this baby girl Mark is actually physically here. He's not sure we can afford a new roof with that south addition. He's actually pretty certain we probably can't. But he said it doesn't hurt to bid it out and then decide what's more important to you, more space, a roof, negotiate with that bidder and see where you can land. Basically what he's saying is that it doesn't hurt to bid out what you really want and then tone it down. But he was excited about a new roof, like he was open, if you can afford it, we should go for it. For a new roof.
I just think that would be huge when you think
Yeah.
about like the building with two little modern flat things off the side. That doesn't do much for me. I don't know what other people think.
I'm not a big fan of flat roofs. I've got a lot of experience with them and I would rather have some kind of a.
Yeah.
Well,
So we could put that in the bid along with the inspection, and then when we get the bids in, say, oh, building size is fine, we want a new roof instead.
Okay, so we'd rather have sloped than flat roofs. We feel pretty, that, I mean,
Like
and
a
I know.
it's called a gable roof, yeah.
yeah.
And
So
then
is-
that way we could, I like the idea of doing everything to the north and not getting into the big tree and.
Sarah.
Yeah, I just to make sure I'm understanding, so the first two drawings on the left-hand side are the current footprint, you're just taking away that sloped down area, okay.
We had discussed a lot about the size of the building and the usage of it. So Mark, when he sat down today, he's like, I can expand the building. I don't know if we could afford it, but we can expand it out to match that restroom. And I think it came out just to the tree. So Mark couldn't promise that tree would stay or go.
So that there is really nothing at this point pushing north.
There isn't, and what he
Okay,
did say
only
is that,
pushes south.
that you could put, we've got a lot of space that you could go north if you wanted to go north. The one on the far right shows basically the extent that you could go south. And that's as far as you could, basically, so.
What is the X next to the word patio?
The garage door.
Got it.
Outside.
Slider.
Thank you.
You can kind of see a little bit, he's got patio that goes around, would go around the deck kind of patio that would go around. So,
I'd like to say, I really don't care for the garage door and Jamie, feels the same way. It just, I think there's some practical problems to it, like you've got it open and then the place fills up with flies and there's food and I don't know.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, I would rather see like sliders or something like that. I like the idea of the outside storage room.
I think we need more space. I do too.
Me
So I'm team, get us more space
Me
inside,
too, me too.
so.
So we're thinking maybe potentially
Push
pushing
north.
north,
Care which.
or it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Once we have events there. Yeah.
So I'm gonna, I better freak out because it wasn't in the package, but,
Well-
I drew this up. This is in the same orientation. This is the existing building with the equivalent of the two things going above. So this then allows you to get a lot bigger space in here. An outdoor restroom on the playground side.
Okay, before we get onto this, I'd like to focus on what kind of some information here about what we can glean to get to Mark, and then we can talk about this, but.
I think if it's in our budget to put in the second option, that little bathroom that faces the playground. I like that because the demographic that is on that playground is people with little kids. And then you can watch your kid run to that bathroom and come back,
Which
rather
was-
than go all the way around the building. Now, if it's in our budget, I think we do both the bathrooms on the north side and the little one on the south side. Would be my
Yeah,
opinion.
but I think it'd be better if the little one on the south side was in the building and not like this
Why is that?
bump out the side, you know?
But we're
that just-
running
But then we-
into no space there with the trees and the flagpole and everything.
Oh, you mean I guess if we expanded it to the north, then you could have a bigger space and it wouldn't matter if there was more stuff inside, but my
I mean, I
concern
don't
is.
see a problem with how that is on option 2 right now.
I think it'd be nicer though if this was here.
Why?
I just think it's peculiar to have like this bump off the side of the building. It just seems really random. Flat roof bump.
Okay. So there's, so of these three, so when we're talking about these three, if we could do it. A restroom on the south side, whether that's in the building or not, or however it's a restroom on the south side so that you can watch the kids.
Yeah.
You know, from the playground, makes sense. For sort of the public use bathroom, when the rest of the building's closed up, there's a restroom that people can use and it would be on the south side is what we kind of prefer. That,
Yeah. I think
That sum that up?
so. I think
Yeah.
that makes sense.
okay,
And then you can still go around to the north side and access that bathroom if the south side's full, whatever.
right, if the building's open, right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't, Jamie talked about this too, is like, I don't really see like on the second one. What the point of having an entry vestibule on the north side is if there's a bathroom that's open on the south side.
Sure, yeah.
What
Yeah,
what
that
do you
makes
need the
sense,
door
yeah.
for?
The only thing I can think that maybe makes sense is if you're loading in. Stuff, like there's not really a good spot to get in from the parking lot.
That's why I'm-
Unless you go all the way around to the front, so maybe that's what he's thinking, I don't know.
For that.
So this is another thing that I think about all of these really is, I think it'd be so much better if there was an entrance either from the parking lot side or the south side, so that third one has that. But,
But we don't think we can afford the third one. Right?
Well, we
I
don't,
don't think we said that though. It'll be more than the 250, but I'm with Jane or with Sarah that I think it'd be so nice to get some more space.
I would like more space in there too.
Dick, you got plans in your hands, what do you think there?
I like the third one. The more gathering space, I just think that the third one is a better plan.
Especially if we could put a gable roof over the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Okay. Scotty?
I like the third plan,
Mhm.
but I think, you know, if there's a way to have an entrance from the,
At least on the third one, there's one.
you know,
There's
somehow.
one, yeah, it's close, a lot closer than the other one.
Okay, so the things we're sort of worried about is that there is that load in issue and sort of the how do you get into this thing? Trying to figure out a better way to do that from the parking lot, because that's where
Right.
people are gonna come from, right?
Yes,
The third one does not have the door on the north side, so it's that the restrooms are sort of all, there's not a door to them from the outside.
Right.
Which we don't need because
Which we
the
don't
little
need.
one isn't.
Right,
Right.
right, because that'll be the open, yeah. Okay,
What is that toilet room addition, do you think?
he said there's water, those are water fountains in that, at least that little drawing part was water fountains, like
Seems
and a
that
bottle
waste
filler.
of Space.
I think we need to have, since it's a public space, we have to have a water fountain available to the public.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but,
where is it?
Right now, we have one on the outside of the building that does not even remotely meet any sort of code.
See that toilet room addition, County, there in the, where the entry vestibule.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the things that look like, I don't know what it is, it's like a bookshelf or something.
I thought it was a sink or something.
Yeah, it's like it's a water fountain.
Here, that's a water fountain.
I asked if if there could be a shared sink, you know, like sometimes you go to places where they have the restrooms are sort of the literally water body, you go in, then you wash your hands in the middle, it's a shared sink kind of thing. Apparently that can't be done in simply buildings. Architects,
They know the rules.
no, I really tell you
So
what you
is
can't do.
there an interior storage room in here, or are you just assuming we'd use like, that kitchen still looks massive to me.
I mean, it's ADA. I can ask if he can make it smaller. Like if that goes above and beyond ADA,
Well,
I can,
I can tell you it's not wide enough for ADA right now. I scaled it off. So that's something that will have to be looked at.
The
Are those
current
like
one, you mean?
windows?
For the-
Kitchen to the
That
outside?
aisle in the kitchen is only 3 feet
Oh,
wide. And I think you, like an ADA, if you look at ADA drawings, I think it's like a 5-foot circle that you have to be able to fit in there.
I'll ask him.
Is there, and I didn't notice it before, but is there a reason that we would need to close the door on the kitchen?
No, be open. So you're asking?
Yeah, I just didn't know. I didn't know if there was, if some people rented it with the kitchen or without. I didn't know that thing.
Where it says storage, there's like a hollowed out wall. Does that mean that you can access from the gathering room into the storage room on
I
the
don't
side?
believe so, no.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just outdoor storage.
Must be the type of wall.
So to get now, okay, do we feel pretty good about comments on this one? Okay, so what Dana passed around looks like so it shifts the kitchen potentially to the north side, is that right? Yeah, with
Yep.
with an island?
With an island, yep.
Okay, and then it then has storage, which kind of, I guess. Storage
It has
mechanical,
interior storage, closet in addition to the outside one.
and then 2 restrooms, sort of then where the kitchen currently is. It were that space there on the east wall. An entry from the
Parking lot.
parking lot, and then that restroom on the far corner that meets the thing that we were talking about. Is this the footprint of the current building, or how is it, do we get more space? How about that?
This is the same amount of space as number 3 there. It
Oh,
just,
okay.
but it doesn't go to the south. It all goes to the north.
Oh, okay.
So we take the existing building and go north. So we're
Okay.
not taking down a tree or taking down a flagpole.
Good luck on that one. Okay.
Yep.
So, but this is, I really appreciate you drawing it, because it does a lot of the things that we needed to have the conversation about. Do we like the idea of this sort of, like a more open kitchen? Since we don't have to, if we don't have to have a door.
Yeah.
It seems like to me, it seems more usable as an open kitchen.
I agree.
Okay.
Is that allowed in a gathering space?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's just now that you mentioned that.
Something,
we
are there
asked.
rules? Yeah, I mean, I think we're all in agreement that we want the gathering room to be bigger.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So where you see in the middle of this where the 2 dots are,
Mhm.
that's where the building ends right now.
Oh, okay.
So
You're just
everything,
essentially taking option 3 and shifting it up.
yes, exactly.
Be fine with that too.
And it gives you the more space. Alright. Well, I think. Any other sort of thoughts on this? It feels like we've got some good ideas and direction to take back to Mark and sort of say, okay, here's what's our thought. And see where we end up. That work?
Yep.
Maybe the next time he'll come.
Yeah.
And then we
And then
can
we're gonna
try.
ask him.
Right, well, but then he has a chance to get some input, right, and he can adjust his design, that would feel like we gave him.
I think it would be good to know, like this whole idea of putting a whole new gable roof over the whole thing.
Mhm.
Will it be okay with code?
Yeah,
One
that's a
thing.
great question.
And then, is there a premium for that as opposed to 2 flat roof additions? I think one of the main things we were saying when we were talking about manufactured buildings is that we wanted to keep the historic rustic character.
Right.
And then I'm just afraid these flat roof additions are gonna, it's like that house across from you on Main Street. They put the flat addition in.
Well, I think those are all great points, and we'll take them back. All right. Any other comments on that? Okay. Thanks. Any public comment on that? Well, actually Debbie is online. If you have any comment. Any comments from the public online? Okay. Hearing none there, it's up to you, Rachel, for the park director report.
Alright, we got approved through the foundation to have a special project fund, for Shea Park. So we will get going on that and get that agreement signed. So the plan will be to, continue fundraising for that project in partnership with the foundation. In September, take the plans to the planning commission for their recommendation to council, get all that information together, and then take it back to council in the fall to recommend, to ask if we can use any of the 30,000 as our capital outlay. Not promising, but maybe.
Are we foreseeing then that the fundraising committee will come up with some ideas once we have the account established and getting money flowing into it?
I mean, I don't, besides the boulder and reaching out to families, I don't know what else we would do. I mean, I guess I'm asking like specifically.
Social
would
media
you wanna
posts.
work on?
I think our last Arts Corner was about Shay, right?
Yeah.
Would we want to take out an ad and have a QR code and say donate now?
Yeah, that'll all be through the foundation. They give it to our, put in a link and all that. So we can post it in Harbor Light, we can post on social media.
Okay,
I think we want to stay away from events, things like that.
But once they've got that, this sort of the fund set up, there'll be some way to get.
Yeah,
online.
yeah, great. The lifeguards are down to Thursday through Sunday at the beach. They will be fully done Labor Day weekend. Skate park staff will be there Friday and Saturday. Park updates, I actually had a call folks like to go later. The harbor master restrooms I don't have on here are gonna close after Labor Day weekend, for that project. Council's still working out how that project's gonna be funded. Parks will be out of that. Seems it's gonna be between the waterfront, general fund, and the DDA. So, perfect. Working with John Cobb to try and get those back nine done. I'm working on it. We already went through the beach plumbing,
Fingers crossed on it.
the two birches in Child's Park are gonna be removed after Labor Day. We're gonna plant an elm. I know, they're not gonna rebound back. We have a donor who wants to plant an elm. It's a good spot for it. Take out two, replace one, still have shade. I did reach out to Dan Screen Setup, but he actually just sent me the quotes today, so I can show those to you. That's the marina landscape. This is, what we talked about earlier with the small projects, what I was recommending for spraying weeds, dealing with the grass. He threw in edging, mulching, like basically anything he would ever do. Actually, I don't know if he has mulch on here or not. Nope.
what are the two parts there, Rachel? The 3,000 versus the 3,500?
One spring and one fall.
Oh,
And then, okay, so then we talked about in the last meeting a little bit, someone had written a letter about Shea Scenic Park and we were asking for some, I had him in my grasp, so I had him do everything. So Shea Park overlook to topsoil level and grade and seed area, that's easily doable. I don't see an issue with that. I did have him look at Kiwanis on what it would be, just so we knew in the future if the topic ever arrived, why we don't do it or what the thought was. And then the Second Street basketball court, which obviously we wouldn't do unless we did major projects to that park later.
So do you think you'll do the Shea Park overlook?
It's up to all of you. So Dan from Green Setup has done it in the past. And then that was probably 10 plus years ago. And then Department of Public Works had asked him to stop due to not having irrigation, things like that. Dan still thinks it'll be successful without irrigation. It's just not quite as, you're not gonna do the same treatment in a park that has irrigation versus not having irrigation. So-
Maybe the board did, but I think for $450.
Yeah.
Do it and write a note to the lady that wrote us and tell her, thank you for bringing it to our attention. And here's what we're doing.
the sprinklers would be.
Get out there with your hose every.
Yeah, but I think, Rachel, I think $450 seems like a worthwhile amount of money to get that
I
happening a little
agree.
better, yeah. So let's.
Perfect.
Tell her we listened.
And can we go back for a minute, Rachel?
Yeah.
What about the other ones, like, don't do Kiwanis right now because of construction?
Right, and Second Street, I don't know why we would spend a bunch of money on the grass if we're not even sure what we're gonna do.
Oh, yeah.
Cause if we read it, my thought is if we're gonna make the grass beautiful and then we decide to rip out that basketball court, there's gonna be machinery over all of it. I'm not saying the grass shouldn't look nice, it should, but we should probably decide what machinery is gonna be on the park.
Yeah, I think right now,
Do that.
do the shade park and the rest of
I
it.
just think it gives a good visual based on size, of
Absolutely.
what we're looking at, so.
And then does he already do Ford Park?
He does the entire waterfront in
Okay.
full service.
And does that come out of waterfront then?
Nope, comes out of the waterfront, DPW, I believe.
Okay.
All right. Zorn Park is gonna have new benches. One of them is gonna be donated. And
Where will they go?
where the ones are now. Where the current ones are.
Just replacing them?
If someone wanted to donate a bench there, it doesn't really make sense to replace one, so ordered three, saves on freight. same
Were they
time.
in bad shape or?
Yeah. Well, plus don't we want the whole waterfront to be matched? Figured latch onto them while they wanted to donate. And then the Dino Dig was a success.
It was. It was
So
awesome.
So fun.
It was good.
I think I do have a little recap on here somewhere.
You all would be super surprised at how many dinosaurs there were in the beach.
It was crazy.
Amazing.
We actually had like beachgoers sign up too, because we had extra dig zones, and so we got to bring in even more people. It's great.
So we did $10 per participant. We did 10 to 12 individuals in each group. They lasted approximately 15 to 30 minutes themed. It was sunny, hazy, 70 degrees with light breeze. It was actually really nice weather. The Rocky Horse Company donated a lot of the supplies and tools that can be reused for future years. The bones are reusable, the fossils are reusable. The gift bags obviously are not reusable. So we did spent and then revenue, so what we spent, but I made sure to put in the future budget, if we kept doing this, we would actually make a profit in the end. You gotta buy the bones and get started.
Oh, yeah.
And then I did reach out to a couple farms already and deer processors about bones and getting them processed, and cleaned properly, work on getting a sponsor. In addition, in the second group, we allowed kids to begin as they showed up, and that really helped with the flow. So I say we would keep with that next year. Were there any other?
I think it'd be nice to, I mean, think about allowing more drop-ins.
Yeah.
I know it's nice to have a register, but if we can, people are at the beach and they wanna give us $10 to do it, you know, even if a kid finishes the dig site and we redo it.
Yeah, I think it'll help now too, now that we know it lasts about 15,
Yeah.
30 minutes. Because we could have like 5 extra stations and know that we could easily fit more in within
And
that.
for number 2, yeah, we just
hours.
say come back in 15 minutes.
Do we feel $10 was fair?
I thought that
People
was
with that.
totally
Yeah.
fair.
I don't think anybody bought that. Seemed great.
So were they allowed to dig up so many bones and then they was,
Well, they had an area like that we had
oh. okay,
roped
so
off
then
with
you have to
privacy tape.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
their own, and then they
Their
took
own
them to
thing.
the table and brushed them off and used magnifying glasses.
Yeah, so you can see in the future one, like if we have to order some extra bones here and there, I budget about $100 to $200. But everything else is perfectly reusable and we got everything back. So we should make a profit moving forward on every event we do. And I say even next year, we talk about doing this twice.
I think so too.
Even if it's all on the same day, or we do Tuesday and Thursday, something like that, but also I had a lot of requests for doing it on a weekend. Like a lot of people emailed and called and said, you're gonna do it on a weekend, are you gonna do it on weekends? Maybe we think about that.
Let the
Memorial
deer
before
beach
it's
on the
this-
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe in the evening even, where people that I know, like I of course have like 10 to 12, you know, is difficult for people that are working, so.
But thought it was a really good event for that age
Yeah.
of kid.
No, I agree, yeah.
That because there's not a lot for that age of kid
No,
to
there's
be able to
not.
do on
That's-
their own.
My youngest was like, I get to do something that my older siblings don't get
I
to do,
know.
okay.
Yeah, seven's about the cutoff.
Yeah,
If you go above seven, it's too, yeah.
Too easy.
5-year-olds were about spot on. They were
Mhm.
awesome.
I think that's. Oh, yeah.
Rachel, what you got, Scott?
So, I just wanna bring up what's been happening with the walking club, which we started in June.
It's
And,
super serious, guys. We have a big
I
group
love it.
going.
yeah, it's every Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we've been going on different routes. And there's generally 8 to 12 people who join in and walk. And myself or Rachel leads the group. And we talk about the parks, but we also give information about the historical sites as we walk along the routes. And the people love it. But I think we need to do a better job promoting it so that more people know about it and will join it. And they asked us to continue, so now
Yeah,
we're in the
so
middle of August and we're still doing it.
we're supposed to stop the last week in July, but now we're all friends, so. Get rid, I was snowshoeing today. We're going. So I did change on the website, just so you know that we don't meet at City Hall. I say to
Yeah.
email or text me to get on, because now we have a group text. Like, yeah. which is funny. So I did edit that way, since we're not always meeting at City Hall.
Correct.
No one shows up.
Correct.
go off.
Yeah, next week, I'm gonna lead an historical tour and we're gonna go to the new Shea Museum and then to the Blackbird Museum and then across the street to the Historical Society. And then look at the renovation of the stained glass windows in the Methodist Church. You know, so the people like the information
It's
that
cool.
you tell them about.
You had handouts, I think I heard.
Yeah, sometimes I give handouts.
That went to, so that was fun. They were like, we always see it, we don't know, we did,
Do you do a post every week with what you're gonna be doing?
no, but we should start
I was
that.
like, yeah, I think this could really turn it.
It's gonna be big.
Yeah, I mean,
Gonna be-
people really enjoy it. And a lot of people, you know, can't do it
We did
every
the
week.
Viewlands last
Thanks,
week,
yep.
right? No, 2 weeks ago, we did
2
the
weeks,
Viewlands,
and then
gone.
just did Thorn Swift.
Yeah,
This week was Thorn Swift. Last week I
Yeah.
did, we went up State Street and then or State Road and then up State Street. And I talked about the different properties and the developments that are going on up there. And then we talked about the businesses that are in, now will be called B2 businesses. And then we walked all the way down Fairview to where the basketball courts are and tennis courts and things like that, that, you know, people said, oh, I didn't know this was here. Stuff like, so they really like that. And then we walked back down the alleyway, which, you know, not a lot of people know that there's an alley
yeah.
that goes from Lake down. And then we walked to the corner of State and East Bluff, and we talked about the project that's going to start very soon there. And then we ended up walking down the bluff.
We've
It's
been
there,
doing
it's there.
something too, we've been everywhere.
Yeah, we walked, we,
That's solid over Harley, we've run 3 to 4 miles every time.
yeah,
Great.
so
Pretty
cool.
much,
And I mean, it's just strolling, they're, you know, and they talk and they enjoy it.
You
They
see
think it's
pictures of
great.
people's flowers.
Yeah.
Part of what we're supposed to do is build community,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's gonna do it, that's all.
Doing it.
Thank you, that's all. That's super cool.
it's been fun.
Love it. All right, next meeting is September 9th. Any other business before us? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank
All right, we're adjourned.